Hello everybody, welcome to OCHD and welcome to another Jumputi Heroes video. Today we're going to be talking about the roadmap to the 4th anniversary, which was officially revealed during the 3.5 anniversary livestream. We did do some predictions before on what this might look like, and some things were sort of right. Like I did say there'd be a 4th anniversary event. I got that much right at least. I said there'd be a Naruto event. I said there'd be a Black Clover event. I mean, there was a couple of things I was right about, but despite the fact that they've actually given us a lot of information here, a lot of it is sort of vague. So we're gonna go through hit by hit, seeing what's on there, and just hypothesize a little bit, see what could possibly happen in these coming events. Starting off in October. October obviously held the 3.5 anniversary, but we will have another event in October, and that is some kind of loosely autumn themed event. They haven't given us a lot to work with here. Speaking of autumn, question mark of autumn. And that's it. I mean, it's similar to what they did with the summer event, which ended up being like a spooky event. So I don't know. I don't know if there's any correlation. Like, is this gonna be like? Because I mean, the summer event ended up kind of being the Halloween event, you know, and this event is going to be taking place around Halloween. Might this end up being what the summer event could have been? Ooh, I don't know. I'm assuming it's one of a couple of things. It's either related to festivals, or it's related to food in some way. Those are my predictions. There are some obvious choices. One that actually applies to both from Shokugeki no Soma would be Kuga Terunori, who does appear in I think it's like the autumn selectionals or whatever it's called, but there is like an autumn festival, so potentially he could come in. There's a few things actually, because I mean it's like the autumn harvest, that's a thing. And there is the relation to the moon cycle, although I think the dates have kind of passed for that, because I think that's like end of September. But like I do believe Taiwan had an event similar to that last year, and that was the introduction of limited carrot. So on the table, something related to the moon, or something related to food, or festivals. It's a bit vague, but I mean, what they've said is a bit vague. And one theory I did have, anybody who reads the notes from the mangaka each week at the end of Shonen Jump, there was a note from Oda about One Piece. Well, not necessarily about One Piece, but he was saying that it is the time of year for Odin. You know, the actual food Odin rather than the character. However, could that be a sign? You know, we're talking about autumn. If that is the season for Odin, perhaps it's time for Yamato to be added to Jumputi. The hype for Yamato right now is crazy. It is crazy. If you go on Twitter, it's every other post I seem to see on my timeline is Yamato. Maybe that's something to do with the people I'm following. I don't know. Probably. But I do see a definite presence, especially when new episodes of the anime come out. You see trending tab going crazy. So could this be the time? Could it be the time for Yamato? I know that there's some complaints to be had about the ridiculously large presence One Piece has had in general throughout the year, just appearing in so many different events. And this would be yet another limited appearing outside of a One Piece event. But I feel like this is one they would get away with. I feel like this is one where people would say, you know what? I'll take it. It could also be like, I mean, this is around the time they did the New World event, I believe, last year. I might have my timing a bit mixed up on that. I think it's close-ish to where they had the New World event. So perhaps we could have a New World event. They could introduce Sanji, assuming it was sort of like that sort of theme, either the cooking, or Carrot if it was the moon theme or whatever. There are options, but if I had to say a character I would expect to see, I think Kuga Teranori is the best option, and possibly the least controversial option of the lot. Moving on, tower improvements. Not much details there. We did already get some tower improvements though, like the reducing it to 5 and stuff like that. So I don't know if there's more tower improvements coming. I assume there is. I don't know what they are. But hey, any improvements are good, because for me it's my least favorite game mode, so any improvements would be very much appreciated. Then, starting off November, we have the Bleach 20th anniversary event, 1000 Year Blood War arc. Now, compared to last year, where Bleach got loads of service in the ensemble events and then got a feature festival, this year Bleach has not had an overwhelming presence outside of this feature festival. We have had some characters added, granted, but I think a lot of us were expecting more, and it didn't come. And I mean, the 20th anniversary, kind of a big deal. The reboot of not the reboot, but like the continuation of the anime, and so like new side stories and additional content and stuff. New manga that's going to be released sporadically, periodically, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of Bleach stuff happening in the celebration of this 20th anniversary. So I think a lot of us expected more content. We did just get Isshin Kurosaki and Masaki Kurosaki, or Isshin Shiba and Masaki Kurosaki. But a 1000 Year Blood War event, which is huge because previously 1000 Year Blood War content had not been that prevalent. A few little bits here and there, but not a full festival. This is a full festival. And this does kind of go against what they said before about they weren't really going to be doing too much content that hasn't been covered in the anime that's going to be covered in the anime. Like, if there is an ongoing anime and they know it's going to reach a certain arc at a certain point, they don't want to spoil it. That's the vibe I was getting. And I mean, seemingly, since they've said that, there has been a significant toning down in the amount of spoilers. There have still been some, granted, but say for example a lot of the Kimetsu no Yaiba content, like Sabito and the new Shinobu and Kane and the new Tanjiro and stuff like that, a lot of these are from stuff that's already covered by the anime. So to me, that is a sign that there is at least a concerted effort being made to avoid spoilers, and this Bleach event is definitely breaking that. I'm fine with it, because 1000 Year Blood War arc is dope as hell. Loads of people looking forward to this because there's so many good characters that can be added. I actually don't know who I want the most. It's a little bit tricky. I do, however, think we're probably going to be seeing Horn of Salvation Ichigo. And that's a big deal, because I think with, say for example, Luffy, we did get a new version of Luffy that is a good unit this year, and we did get like Luffy Ace and stuff like that. But Goku, I would say, got what I would call like a blockbuster version of the character. Not only is it a fantastic unit, but it's like this huge moment in the series. And so a lot of people were very excited about this blockbuster version of Goku in comparison to Nightmare Luffy, which some people were excited about, most people were maybe mildly disappointed in, whatever. I feel like this Ichigo could be a blockbuster version of Ichigo to be added to the game if we are getting Horn of Salvation. So, big moment from the series, big moment for Jumputi, and I'm quite excited. They could equally not include him here, because it's such a big arc and there's so many limited worthy characters, and you could use this as an opportunity to highlight other ones and then just save Ichigo for another. He could be thrown in basically any ensemble event or anything. But I do think we are going to see Horn of Salvation Ichigo. So, exciting stuff. And the event that follows that is somehow almost as vague as the last hint we got. It says a little XXX heroin hot spring event. Now, what does this mean? Logically, there must be a hot spring event that is adding some heroines. Logically, there is a series that is based almost entirely around a hot spring in Yuna and the Haunted Hot Spring. So there must at least be some content from Yuna being added during this event. Surely. Surely. I've predicted so many times that I think the time will come for us to get Kogarashi's teacher as a character. So this could be that time. As a limited, possibly. That would be dope. This could also be a case of sort of a mislead. Not necessarily. Like, I do think we will get some content from Yuna's Haunted Hot Springs, but a hot spring event. Do you know how many series have that hot spring chapter or that hot spring episode or whatever? Like, almost every series in Shonen Jump has done that at some point. So I have a feeling that could be an element. Obviously, it does say heroines, so I do expect to see female characters, possibly much similar to that Valentine's event, which I was kind of okay with. Like, an opportunity to add new characters from a lot of different series because they're not trying to match up the counters at all. Like, you can have a limited from one series that's countering a catastrophe from another series, and then standard gacha from a 2 or 3 series that counter different characters from 2 or 3 different series. I think that's really cool. I'm really a big fan of that because it gives attention to a lot of different series, potentially a couple of smaller series there too. And yeah, I think Kogarashi's sensei as the limited, hopefully. I'm trying to think of one of the bigger series that would have like a big hot springs moment. I mean, I do think I mentioned it in the roadmap before when I was doing the predictions. Medio Leona does have this huge hot spring training thing. I know it's technically a little bit different than when you say hot spring, but it is a hot spring chapter technically, so could be seeing her there. That would be dope. I'm trying to think of like iconic hot spring moments, but none are coming to me right now. Like, the big series actually brush over those normally. It's normally like slightly smaller series that have had like big moments like that. So I don't know. And then underneath that, phase 1, elements to make it easier to train heroes. Hero only duels implemented, and a little XXX element. Now, hero only duels is very straightforward. They explained this in the stream. The hero only duels are just skill duels that can only be used on hero grade units. So, in a perfect world, you would never use duels on event characters. You would use hero only duels on hero characters, and standard duels, while you could use them on event characters or on hero characters, you would only use them on limiteds and Muso characters. And I guess the idea behind that is they could be a little bit more generous with the hero only duels because there are so many hero grade characters, and you may not be seeing much of their potential because you need to pull dupes of them, and it's a little bit tricky to maybe beat certain stages without having them a certain level or whatever. So that's cool. I don't know how plentiful those are going to be. I don't know how many different ways they're going to be implemented or obtainable, but I'm excited nonetheless. The XXX element, I have no idea what it is. But if I had to just throw out a guess, I don't know. I'm hoping that will be costumes. And I'm not saying this is going to be like the return of costumes, because I think I've given up on that. But maybe just for this one event, they add some costumes. That's all I'm going to say. Like, I don't know what that's got to do with making it easier to train heroes. but I don't know. I just want some costumes, and it would be really cool if during this event they add like a few different characters that are like, you know, in the hot springs and whatever as new obtainable characters, and then they take a few old characters and give them costumes of like them in hot spring costumes. That'd be dope. That would be dope. A bit optimistic maybe, I don't know, but I really don't. There's so many parts of this where I'm just like, I have no idea. So if I have to guess something, that's it. Moving on to December. We're starting off December with a Black Clover feature festival based around the Elf Reincarnation arc. Now, this is actually right next to something very interesting on the calendar. You can see it says that dual unit will appear. However, that seems to be indicating it is a part of the 20 million download celebration, not a part of the Black Clover event. And if someone was to say that dual unit, I would say the most likely dual unit we would see next would be Asta and Yuno. Because we know the developer, the main producer is a big Black Clover fan. That is a dual unit we do not have yet. And most of the parts are in place for that to be added to the game. So, I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? It does make sense. However, if we talk about the Elf Reincarnation arc, I would say the two big draws from that, I'm sure the Black Clover fans will tell me there's 15, 16, 17 different candidates for a limited, but let's be realistic. The two big draws from that would be an Asta and Yuno dual unit and Lumiere. Now, I have said in a previous video, and I do stand by this, that I think Lumiere is a potential candidate for a Muso from Black Clover. If Giotto can be a Muso, Lumiere almost definitely will be a Muso. So, that means the big draw for this event would be Asta and Yuno. So, if Asta and Yuno were added during this Black Clover event, then who is that dual unit? This is the part that I really don't know. And this 20 million download celebration seemingly, I mean, I don't really know what's happening here. It says, let's start off Christmas Day, assuming Christmas Day or just before Christmas Day. We're getting a new type of event for Christmas. And as mentioned before, earlier in the year, we are getting a new Kirizu Sensei from We Never Learn. I assume she's going to be a limited. The costume they showed on the stream seemed to be the one she wears in the popularity poll, because she won that popularity poll by a staggering number, a ridiculous number. She was more popular than the other girls by so much. And it seems that that's going to be her costume, at least maybe during her winning pose or something like that. So we know she's coming. I assume she's going to be a limited, and she is going to be part of the Christmas event. Now, beyond the Christmas event, there will be the 20 million download celebration, and that is going to flow into January, which is what happened last year. We had the celebration around Christmas time, and it went through New Year, and then in January we had an event that was part of it, but it was also sort of like a mini feature for One Piece. So we know Christmas, beyond Kirizu, I don't know what to expect. It says a new type of event. What can that be? Realistically, what can that be? I mean, we've had Sensei features, we've had feature festivals, we've had like these collaboration Grand Alliance festivals, we've had like seasonal events and stuff. Maybe they're gonna have another crack at seasonal events and come at it from a different angle. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, you know, that Kirizu is in the costume from the popularity poll. Maybe they're gonna have an event that focuses on forms and versions of characters that have only appeared in stuff like color pages and on Shonen Jump covers and all this stuff. Like it's like a non-canon festival. I don't know. I don't know. But beyond Kirizu Sensei being added, what can you really expect? It's hard to say. So we're just gonna move on to the 20 million download celebration. All we know about this event is it's going to be much similar to the Feast of 1000 we got last year, and it's going to run through December to January. Bear in mind, at some point we're going to be celebrating 1000 units. That could well be this during this event. We could be celebrating 1000 units, so that's pretty cool. And for that jewel unit, assuming it's not Asta and Yuno, assuming that it is not from any series we have already had, so it's not going to be like Goten and Trunks or something like that, who can it be? It's very difficult. Like some of the big ones you would say, Gintama does not have a dual unit yet, Bleach does not have a dual unit yet, maybe like Kinnikuman doesn't have a dual unit yet, and I only say Kinnikuman because there's so many candidates for dual units because it has a tag team tournament. I do wonder whether it will be the Gintama one. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it could be Takasugi and Gintaki, which I know a lot of people would be excited about. I don't know. The way they say that dual unit, I really feel like it needs to be an iconic duo. And I'm struggling to think of ones we don't A, already have, or B, like, I mean, it could, I suppose it could theoretically be one from a series that we already have a dual unit from. Even then, like, who? I don't really know. So that's an exciting one, and I'm interested to see who other people think that dual unit is. And we will talk about that in more depth. As each of these events come up, we will go more in depth of what I expect these events. But that event is definitely the most exciting, most interesting one for me. Then, in the second half of January, we will have a Naruto event. Seemingly a Naruto feature festival, but a Naruto event for sure. And that's going to roll straight into a Boruto event. It's not going to be a month of Naruto/Boruto content, as may be suggested by the original calendar. As you can see, I have tweaked it slightly, so it doesn't look like a whole month. But it certainly did look like a whole month on the calendar they showed. There's no way they do a month of Naruto and Boruto, because people will be steaming by the end of it. People love Naruto, people will summon. There are some people that love Boruto, they will summon, but a whole month of it in a game that's supposed to be about like celebrating all the different series of Jumputi, I think most people are not going to be that bothered. So I think it's going to be second half of January and then like maybe the first week of February total for both series. I don't know how much crossover there's going to be between the two. I think if we are going to see a crossover, it would be very cool to see like the Kid Naruto, Kid Boruto from the anime. I know that didn't happen in the manga, but that doesn't matter for a crossover unit. You can just do Kid Naruto, Kid Boruto, or Adult Naruto, Kid Boruto also works, I guess, or Sasuke and Boruto, Naruto and Sarada, which again does make sense for the manga, but they might not do two dual units, I don't know. But there's options. And seeing as they haven't told us which arc of Naruto they're covering, what chance do I have to make any kind of predictions? It could be anything. Bro, last time they told us what arc was coming, and I struggled to figure out which characters are being added. So, who would I like to see from Naruto? I guess would be the best way to put it. And I don't know, my favorite character is probably like Shikamaru, and we've already got him, or Asuma Sensei, who we don't have. So maybe that'd be nice. And then from Boruto, I mean, Sarada will be probably coming later in the year because there is a Naruto and the Scarlet Springs thing coming later. So who else from Boruto? I don't know. I don't think we're covering the anime stuff more than the manga stuff, theoretically. So who matters in Boruto? We'll probably get another Boruto, I guess. Maybe some of the adult characters, that might make sense. Like some of the not the Hokage, like some of the Kage, you know, like adult Gaara. They love adding a new Gaara. Let's just say adult Gaara. And then moving on from that, before we talk about the new events in February, Phase 2, replay elements for intermediate to veteran players. This is something we've been asking for so long. It says an event you can play repeatedly, new endgame content implemented. I am assuming this is going to be their version of Super Dimensional Battle or Training Forest, or pick your fancy, from the other gacha games for some of the bigger series, you know. I'm hoping it is something like that. That would be so cool. And it says improvements to Super Dimensional Battle. We've recently had a Super Dimensional Battle ranking event, and it just felt like another one of those things where I was getting quite a lot of rewards from it, which I'm cool with. Don't get me wrong, I'm cool with, but there is definitely a certain barrier you hit with that, and it's like, is that barrier your ability and how fast you're able to tap? Is that barrier how laggy your phone gets when you try to play that game mode? Is that barrier just the units you have in your box and the limit break you have available to you? I don't know, but I mean, generally speaking, ranking events don't excite me, because there's that top crust of players who are just straight up cheating. I'm not saying all of the top players are, because they're not. There are definitely some players that just have really good units, or they're able to tap very quickly, or have they good strategies, or they just got lucky. All of those people do still exist, but I have seen people just straight up cheating. And I think having rewards tied into the rankings of that, it's cool to get more rewards, but it kind of feels pointless. Like, a lot of players just aren't going to be able to get the top rewards from it. It's not possible for them. And I think having, like I said with the last one, like if you had something similar to Training Forests, where it's just solo content, and it's like, if you are good enough to beat it, you get a reward for you, and you're not stopping somebody else from getting a reward, and nobody else can stop you from getting this reward. It's all just on you. I think that's the best kind of content for me personally. To each their own, I suppose. And continuing February, we have the first feature festival for a series that kept us all waiting, the Siren Feature Festival, which many people have been looking forward to, myself included. I do think Naruto and Boruto will be a good opportunity for me to save, and I think they're going to have to be a good opportunity for me to save, because we have Siren, which I'm definitely going to want to be summoning on, followed by 21 million downloads, the flashiest celebration ever. Now, the use of the word flashiest only brings one character to mind for me, and that is, of course, Tengen Uzui from Kimetsu no Yaiba. So don't worry, more Kimetsu no Yaiba content on the way. By this point, he will have done something in the anime, I believe. I don't think he's done much in the anime yet. By this point, he will have done some stuff in the anime, so an opportunity to add him as a limit. I think they've planned that, to be honest. Like, they were saying they didn't want to spoil much in the anime, and okay, Bleach, they've just gone and spoiled some stuff anyway, and Siren doesn't have an anime, so they're gonna have to spoil some stuff on that one. But with this 21 million downloads, flashiest celebration ever, that is specifically timed so that it's like, okay, Tengen's done some cool stuff now, we can release him as a limit. That's gotta be a thing. Beyond that, the flashiest, I don't know if there's any other characters that use that sort of terminology or have that sort of flashy appeal. I mean, there's a million different characters you can think of who are flashy in Shonen Jump. But that's going to be a big event. And Siren, obviously, something to look forward to. Maybe limited Ageha? I don't know. I mean, we don't even have version 1 Ageha yet, but maybe. And then moving into March, this is an interesting event. The Grand Alliance Festival, Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter, or Hunter x Hunter rather, a super crossover that can only be achieved by 2 series of the same author. So, this has had some mixed opinions. Some people are so hyped beyond belief for this. Other people saying, is this not just a sensei feature? Didn't you scrap the idea for a sensei feature back in like 2019 or whatever it was? Like, what's going on? So it's not a sensei feature because there's not going to be any content from level E or anything else that Togashi has worked on. But we will have content from Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter. Now, will it be similar to the My Hero Academia World Trigger event? Possibly. I do think they're going to learn from that event and retool that event. And I think they have been making a good effort of doing that. Like, say, for example, when they brought back that ridiculous stage for Meruem, they said, like, oh yeah, we've got the Genkai Battle Meruem, now the Super Genkai Battle Meruem. And it was just kind of arse. And, I mean, they haven't really added any more. So I wonder if that's something that they're going to retool, rework on, and then bring out at a later date. With a new approach, and I'm hoping that they do, because it sucked. All it was additional rewards for being an insanely difficult stage, and it didn't feel like a natural progression on from what Super Dimensional Battle. No, Genkai Battle. It didn't feel like a natural progression on from what Genkai Battle was, which was you beat the stages and you slowly worked up to the point that you had all the dupes that you could use the full potential of the character. So hopefully they're working on that, and I'm hoping that this Grand Alliance Festival they're gonna have another go at, because it looks like it's a month long, and that My Hero Academia World Trigger event, that was not enough content for a month, and they knew that, and that's why there was loads of reprints and stuff, and that's why there was like a countdown to the anniversary tied in with that. So we're probably gonna see that again. But I'm really hoping the pacing of the event is handled so much better. Whether that means more characters are added, whether that means the spacing of the events are different, or like the farmables are approached differently, I don't know. But they got to do something, because bro, that event just it was so slow. It was so slow. In terms of the characters that we want to see added, like I've heard people talking about which pair-ups we're gonna see. Is it gonna be Kurama and Kurapika? Is it gonna be like Hiei and Killua, Gon and Yusuke, Leorio and Kuwabara? Like, what's it gonna be? What are we gonna see? Like, because if the My Hero Academia World Trigger event is any signal, Gon would probably be paired up with, like, I don't know, Kurama? I don't think that makes sense. And then Hiei with no Yusuke with Killua. I'm trying to work this out in my head. It's not working. I don't actually know what I want to see from this event. I want to see them add some of the units from Yu Yu Hakusho that we haven't seen. There's definitely some content they haven't touched, like the fact that we got 2 versions of Sensui. But if you look back at like some of the earlier arcs, just some of the content just hasn't been added at all. That's a bit strange to me. I think there's definitely some stuff you can do. And even from that arc, like no one except Sensui was added, I don't think. So an opportunity there perhaps. And Hunter x Hunter, what are we missing from Hunter x Hunter that I actually care about? There's nothing. I don't think there's anything. I'm racking my brain. I can't think of anything. Menchi, the gourmet hunter. Add Menchi during the Hunter x Hunter event. Let's go. No, I really can't think of many characters I'd actually be that bothered about. Komugi. There you go. There's a character. Anyway, beyond that, we have Phase 3. New play elements that will help the game grow. Now, out of everything on here, I think this is probably the biggest bullet point. New battle style, similar idea to dual units. So it could be like versus units, could be transforming units, anything, I don't know. there's options. Other games have tried different things for this. Like there's even like OPTC has like the unit that's like the whole crew. You can have the whole Straw Hats as a single unit. Like games have tried lots of different things here, so there are options for sure. Even like ones where you can like switch out the character, ones where you can like change the type of the character, all kinds of stuff. So probably it might be an idea that's stolen from one of the other games. And Captain Plan Star. This is, again, another one of those vague bullet points that doesn't really tell us much, but I have a hypothesis, which is probably wrong, but as these things normally are. But I believe that the new battle style, or the new thing similar to dual units, and Captain Plan Star are tied together. I think captain abilities are going to be added to the game. Much like they were in OPTC, your lead character gives you a certain team buff, and so they are going to start that during the 4th anniversary with the release of the new Muso, which will be Goldie Roger. Yes, I know I've made this prediction before already, but he's got to come out eventually. And so my theory is they will release Roger, and he'll have a super powerful one of these captain abilities, and the captain abilities are basically a passive ability that is active for your whole team, but only while that character is in your lead slot. And the idea would be that there will be some free-to-play characters, and I guess the captain skills will be added in batches the same way that luck skills are. And the free-to-play characters will have, obviously, weaker captain abilities, but some will be better than others, some will be better situationally, like maybe you'll have some characters that boost... Here's an example. Say, for example, Saga. A lot of people love to use Saga as a leader. Maybe he would have a captain ability to boost Saint Seiya characters, and in some situations that wouldn't be that good, but on stages where you're playing against a Saint Seiya boss, Saint Seiya characters are probably boosted, so that captain ability might actually be very strong. But there'll be other ones that boost by type, or boost by class, or boost when you use a certain ability or having certain units in your team, or blah blah blah, the list goes on. And then obviously the captain abilities will get stronger based on the grades, so the event units will be the weakest, and then hero will be a bit stronger, limited a bit stronger, Muso the strongest. And so I think that's where it all ties together. Makes sense that captain ability would be released with Goldie Roger. Captain Plan Star is going to be a new way to play the game, new battle style. I could be just waffling here. I probably am, but I think there is potential in that. Captain Plan Star, if I had to guess another thing it could be, could also be, perhaps this would be like, you'd say captain, if you take the term quite loosely,